If you're looking for someone to complete you, you're not looking for love. You're looking for relief. Relief for the parts of you that feel incomplete, and relief for the parts of you that feel unloved. Because love, real love, it doesn't save you, but it can reveal to you how you can save yourself. My name is Ed Hegan. I'm a former New York City firefighter and a mindfulness, meditation, and breathwork coach. And I've seen the danger of building anything, whether it's a house or a relationship, on sand or unstable ground. And the most unstable ground of all is when we look for someone else to fix what we haven't healed in ourselves. But when we begin to take ownership of our emotional world, something beautiful happens. And we stop clinging to relationships for salvation, but instead we can use them as an opportunity for transformation. So let's start, as always, by sharing a few deep breaths. And we can ground ourselves into the present moment for this meditation, connect ourselves to our bodies, to the present moment, and to each other. Let's take a few deep breaths, emptying all the air out of your lungs. Exhale. Inhale slowly through the nose. Hold. 4, 3, 2, and release as you drop into your center. Breathe in slowly through the nose, reminding yourself, I am whole. Slowly release the illusion that someone else will complete me. Inhale, I am whole and complete just as I am. Release, I am the calm in my own storm. Inhale, peace and deep acceptance of the way things are. And exhale, knowing that I am whole and complete just as I am. Feel the steadiness of your own presence and feel that you're nice and solid, standing on the ground of your own support, knowing that you have everything you need and that you can handle anything life throws at you. And you can breathe normal. Just give yourself some space to recognize any tension or tightness that you're carrying in your body. And for this meditation, I want to start out with some key points. That when we feel like we need someone to complete us, we are building that foundation on sand. And we cannot do that. We must build a connection on something more solid. And when a relationship begins and two people can stand whole and complete as they are, rooted in themselves, then love is less of a transaction, and it becomes an invitation to grow and see and to evolve and to learn. And in this way, when we see relationship as a pathway to salvation, it's not because the other is going to save us, but because they will reflect back to us the things that we need to work on so we can save ourselves. Because no one is coming to save you. No love relationship, no commitment to marriage, no amount of kids you have or houses and mortgages you can obtain are going to give you that security. Sure, temporarily, albeit, you can experience the comfort of the security of being locked into like a fixed mortgage and feeling like you have the white picket fence and 2.5 kids and you can kind of build something. But if it's not built on this idea of wholeness for yourself and your partner, you may notice that you start to point your fingers of blame at each other. and start flinging crap back and forth, and you're responsible for my happiness and you're not making me happy, or you're responsible for my unhappiness and what you're doing is making me feel this way, when in reality nobody makes anybody feel anything. I could turn that language into something different and say, when you act this way, it makes me feel this way, and take ownership and investigate that. What is that trigger? Why is it making me feel a certain way? But this requires taking a personal inventory of the things that cause us to react and trigger us. But it doesn't give us the opportunity to criticize the other with contempt and blame, but to use that reflection of that mirror to take some acknowledgement of our role in why we feel that way. Where does that wound come from? Get curious about it. Why does that bother me so much? And when we start to look at it as an opportunity to learn lessons, we can see that the conflict and the pain that we oftentimes try to avoid or blame other people for feeling is the pathway to salvation, because it can make us address and redress some of our past conditioning, to face our wounds, and to begin the process of taking ownership over that so we can heal in a healthy way. Because when you take responsibility for your triggers, then you stop weaponizing your pain. Weaponizing it against another that you claim to love, but also weaponizing it against yourself. Because the more that we blame and shift responsibility for what we're feeling, the more that we avoid taking responsibility for what's going on in our own hearts and souls, the more we give our power away. And so, are you seeing your partner as the problem? Because your partner is not the problem. They are simply the mirror that is reflecting back to you what's going on inside of you. So in that way, each trigger becomes a teacher. Each conflict is an opportunity to expand. And when we stop blaming, we can start learning. And in that way, love becomes a spiritual practice, not a fantasy of some perfect person who's going to take all our problems away and make everything better. But it becomes a practice in which we can say, what can I learn from this experience? What is this pain trying to teach me? Pain as a teacher is a powerful concept, because in love we look to avoid the pain. But the real magic of love is found in doing that work, side by side. Not clinging, not out of desperation and neediness, but out of standing together in the truth and vulnerability of each other's sovereignty, and honoring that in each other. I see you carry wounds. I see you're hurting. Let me understand why you're hurting and what's going on. Not so I can fix you, but so that I can simply let you know that even if you're feeling these insecurities, these jealousies, this anger, this fear, I love you anyway. I see you. I accept you. I care about how you feel. I know it may feel silly for you to feel these insecurities and jealousies, and I can dismiss it like you have nothing to worry about. But if I can see the truth of the inner child in you that needs to be loved, or feels overlooked or abandoned or neglected, I can hold space for your vulnerability and let you know that it's okay. And in that way, we give each other permission to feel more deeply. And when we give each other permission to feel the truth of what we're going through, we can offer each other the gift of vulnerability, where we get to truly be a more authentic version of ourselves. So you're not half of the whole. You already come whole and complete as you are. And then we get to turn toward our partner, whole and complete as we are, and intentionally turn toward each other with that wholeness, with that happiness, with that contentment, and share it with each other from a place of abundance, not from a place of scarcity or lack. And so, as we deepen our self-awareness, our relationship can become more sacred, because our self-awareness allows us to recognize how we're showing up in ways that maybe aren't so helpful. And in that way, we can see how we can show up as a better version of ourselves. Because completion doesn't come from love. It comes before love. So we might want to just do an evaluation and recognize that our love is something that comes from within us, from us doing the work necessary to heal the wounded parts of ourselves. And we can show up to partnership as a more whole and complete version of ourselves. And so don't make the mistake of thinking that healing always looks like harmony and peace and rainbows and butterflies, because it doesn't. Sometimes love looks like being honest with yourself first about what's going on and what you're really feeling. Sometimes love means bearing the truth of your soft white underbelly and daring to say the things out loud that you are feeling guilty and ashamed about. I'm afraid. I've been wounded. I don't want to get hurt again. I'm feeling jealous and insecure. And we don't always have to turn toward our partner to say these things. We can acknowledge them and say, hey, I'm going through a rough time right now. I'm working on it. And we can turn to a friend. We can turn to a mentor or a guide. And if you're feeling like you need guidance in this area, you don't have to walk this path alone. You can reach out to me, and you can go to edwoodstock.com and sign up for a free discovery call. And we can work one-on-one on deepening meditation, breath work, and grounding yourself in the self-awareness necessary to do the inner work, heal those wounds, and become more whole and complete in our hearts so that we can show up in relationships in a healthier way. So let the love that you're experiencing be a reflection of the growth you're going through. Don't use love and intimacy and connection as a distraction from your wounds. Look at it as an opportunity to learn and grow and become a better version of ourselves. Because the truth is, you were never meant to be complete by anyone. You are meant to be witnessed, met, and mirrored in the fullness and the truth of who you really are. Relationships are not meant to fix you. We're not meant to fix each other. We are meant to reflect back to each other that we're still healing. And we can also reflect to each other the parts of us that still need to be worked on. But we can also support each other and remind each other of how far we've come, how much work we've done. And we can offer each other loving kindness and support by encouraging each other to continue to grow in wholeness, in self-love, and self-care. And then it's not just about love. It's about this evolution that we take as individuals and collectively to become better people. That's real evolution. And that's real soul work. And when we participate in that kind of work, and we become whole and complete, and we create healthy relationships, and we learn to take better care of ourselves, we learn to take better care of each other. And that's the real reason that we're truly here. So continue to breathe deeply, practice that self-awareness. Continue to remind yourself that you are whole and complete just as you are. You always have been, and you always will be. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope to see you again next time.